Our messenger today is Eileen Lighthawk, a creative catalyst for positive change. She likes to help people unwrap their presence. Eileen encourages groups and individuals to empower their lives and create their dreams. Her messages are rich and filled with practical wisdom and served up with a healthy dose of humor. Today, Eileen tells us to get out our fins and our snorkels and get ready to dive deep into divine service. She believes that each of us is born with unique innate gifts to share in daily life, in acts of service to ourselves and to others. With gentleness, wisdom, and good humor, Eileen will give us practical tools to help us discover and share our gifts in a healthy and loving way. Please welcome Eileen Lighthawk. You're welcome.
What a wonderful introduction. I think I'd like to get to know that one. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, Zoomies, for being here today. Putting myself on a timer. Today, we're going to talk about divine service and the gift of giving. You guys are all wise people. You've been around the block a few times. You know that it's hard to give without receiving. Some people give in order to receive. That's called manipulation. Please don't do that. But when we give from an open heart, we can't block the blessings. They just keep coming in. So that's what I want to talk about today. I am not going to talk about money. I don't know about you. Anytime I've ever been in a spiritual group, when they started talking about the blessings of giving, they were going to ask for money right after. Instead, I want to spend a little time today talking about something far more valuable than money. You are the only one of you in the world. There's only one. Never been anybody like you before. Never going to be anybody like you after. That's kind of cool if you think about it. So either creator has a really warped and twisted sense of humor, or ding dong, you're here in your unique sets of gifts and quirkiness and originality, because you have exactly what the world needs at this exact time. Pretty cool, huh? You're a one-of-a-kind, limited edition. Do you remember in junior high? I remember this from junior high. Maybe you went to a nicer junior high. But I remember that there was a thing of who was in what group and who was stuck up and who was, whatever. And the expression that was used by the kids was, oh, he just thinks he's God's gift to the world. Oh, she just thinks she's God's gift to the world. Right? You remember that? They were right. You are God's gift to the world. In order for you to share the gift of you with the world, in order for you to reveal the light of God inside you, and to bless the rest of us with that rare and beautiful treasure that is you, there's one extremely important thing you need to do. Be yourself. Because the uniqueness of you is God's gift to the world. Become who you truly are. Be you as a vessel of divine joy and grace and peace and kindness. Jesus told his friends, you are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. Think about the friends that Jesus was hanging out with. Lordy, lordy. Tax collector who turned on his own people and worked for the invaders who took over their country to extract money from people for taxes. A fisherman with a bad temper. And to these people, Jesus said, you are the light of the world. Not because they were flawless, not because we're flawless. Our divine spirits are flawless, but we're having a human experience and it gets a little messy at times. And God, Jesus, our role model, looks at our hearts. Part of us that's eternal and loving, the part of us that is the temple of God, looks at our hearts and calls forth that divine beauty that's in us, calls it forth. So let's look at what wise people have to say about this. The whole law is fulfilled in one word. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. The real meaning of detached love is to let others exist without forcing our will upon them. How many times have you gone to help somebody, help them by fixing them? The real meaning of detached love is to let others exist without forcing our will upon them. That is spiritual love. Have you ever been a mess? Ever been a hot mess? Did that experience serve you and help you become better? So when we decide, we see somebody and we decide they're a hot mess, and we decide with our intellect, because my gosh, we're so smart, we decide that we need to fix them and help them. Is that divine service? No, that's ego service, that's intellect service. Divine service doesn't try to force change. If you want the moon, do not hide at night. If you want a rose, do not run from the thorns. If you want love, do not hide from yourself. You can never love another person unless you are equally involved in the beautiful but difficult spiritual work of learning to love yourself. We go into a relationship with anyone, somebody that you have a 30-second encounter with, somebody that you live with for 30 years. We go into a relationship with anyone either as an equal or out of balance. When we serve, we need to serve from a place of equality. If you can't, because you're human and have prejudices, if you can't come to someone as an equal to serve them, then don't serve them. Because nobody needs your pity or your judgment or your BS. We need to learn to love ourselves. And once we learn to love ourselves, it's amazing how much kinder we are to other people. So once you start cutting yourself some slack, and not being so harsh and judgmental. Once you allow for yourself not to be a perfectionist, then all of a sudden you have room for everybody else to not be perfect too. But as long as you're beating up on yourself because you only did, 19 push-ups instead of 20, or whatever the silly reason is, then you're going to beat up on the world around you. Ending judgment starts with ending judgment of yourself. The human soul is on a journey from the law to love, from discipline to liberation. Thank you. From the moral superiority plane, I'm better than you, to the spiritual, we're all equal. Meet people as your equals. The path to love is our spiritual destiny. In love lies the seed of our growth. The more we love, the closer we are to the spiritual experience. And in talking about Jesus, love is not something you think about, it's the state in which you dwell. That was his gift. I love Rumi. We got a lot of gray hair coming on in this room. And with that comes the awareness of a ticking clock. But if you ever want to be timeless, take Rumi's advice. Guy's still teaching us 800 years later. He knows something about timelessness. Step out of the circle of time and into the circle of love. And again, you don't have to, remember all of this. It'll all be up on the web page. You can go to the Unity Church web page and review this and stop the slide whenever you want. But love is timeless. And that comes in our giving too. When you approach somebody who's older than you as being frail and helpless, that's not equal. When you approach a 3-year-old as being stupid, that's not equal. Everybody is a soul. And that 3-year-old might have had a lot more life experience than you had and has come back to share. And that person you see as frail has been through so much stuff in their life that they are so much stronger than any superhero you can imagine. So again, make our service equal. Get your heart right before you serve. The spiritual meaning of love is measured by what it can do. Love is meant to heal. Love is meant to renew. Love is meant to bring us closer to God. And I would say love is meant to reveal God who is already inside of us. It's our natural urge to love. Abirjani, this fire that we call loving is too strong for human minds. Let me think about who I will love today and how I will perform my divine service. No, it's too strong for a human mind, but just right for human souls. One is loved because one is loved. No reason is needed for loving. Whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and God will repay him. But it's more than just being loving to humans and helping humans. Book of Proverbs tells us that a good man is kind to animals. When you scatter that bird seed, when you put out a bowl of water, that's love. When you make a conscious choice to not use poisons on your land and to not put poison on your land. Ding dong. That's love. I'm liking the ding dong thing. And Jesus said, truly, I tell you, whatever you did for the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you did for me. Again, we're all equal in giving to others, including four-leggeds and winged ones and Mother Earth and the waters of the earth. Giving to creation is giving to God. Giving is living. When we give purely. Another Bible verse, let each give thoughtfully and with purpose, just as he has decided in his heart. What? Decided in his mind? No, decided in his heart. Not grudgingly or under compulsion. For God loves a cheerful giver and delights in the one whose heart is in his gift. You ever worked in a corporate situation and it was Judy's birthday and we're taking up donations for Judy's birthday because we're all going to chip in and buy Judy a horrible store-bought cake that tastes like a sponge frosted with lard. That's called giving under compulsion. That's not cheerful giving. That's not really even giving. It's like, okay, happy birthday, Judy. Yay. Okay, that's over with. No, God loves a cheerful giver. So before you give, check it. Are you doing it because you think you're supposed to? Are you doing it because you want to? You know why I'm here today? Because I want to be. That's why. Sometimes it takes only one act of kindness and caring to change a person's life. There's a story of a guy who committed suicide, and they found in his note that he decided that he would walk the streets of the city he lived in. And if someone was kind to him or nice to him or smiled at him, he would not take his life. And at the end of the day, he took his life. It's not always the huge gestures. Just acknowledging someone's existence as a fellow traveler on planet Earth. Just saying, yeah, this is a weird trip, huh? Having an incarnation is weird. Thank you for being here. And you probably don't want to use those words, especially if they look like a really straight person, but you know in your heart what it means when a stranger smiles at you. It's just a simple thing of saying, I see, namaste. The divine in me sees the divine in you. I see you. If you want to lift yourself up, lift someone else up. Kindness can become its own motive. We are made kind by being kind. And the Buddha says, in separateness lies the world's great misery. In compassion lies the world's true strength. 3 things in human life are important. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. The third is to be kind. What we all have in common is an appreciation of kindness and compassion. All the religions have this. Love. We all lean towards love. Human kindness has never weakened the stamina or softened the fiber of a free people. A nation does not have to be cruel to be tough. That was Franklin Roosevelt said that. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. There was a study done with a group of people who were suicidal. And they were given tasks to perform. It's like, okay, well, we want to do this experiment for a month. And if you want to kill yourself after a month, feel free, but, commit the next month to doing this experiment with us. It'll help other people in the future. So the people agreed that they wouldn't kill themselves for a month. And then they were given tasks to do. Now, tasks were things like reading to people who were blind, visiting long-term VA hospital patients who were kind of in it for the long haul in the VA system, which isn't a very joyful system for most people. Serving food at soup kitchens, gardening, planting flowers in public spaces. And they got to pick, what they were going to do. After a month, all of them, every single participant, noticed a significant reduction in suicidal thoughts. And several of them were shocked to find that they were feeling happy at times. Say this with me. Oops, not there anymore. That's okay. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. More wisdom. As a bee gathering nectar does not harm or disturb the color and fragrance of a flower, so do the wise move through the world. Again, not forcing, not pushing, just loving. Let what comes, come. And let what goes, go. Find out what remains. There are 8 billion people on the planet, approximately. You are not going to serve every one of them personally. It's not going to happen. Prove me wrong. I'm fine with that. But the odds are you're not going to serve every one of them personally. And so we need to be wise with where we invest our time and energy. Because you still need to sleep. You still need to take care of yourself. And when we spend hours and days and weeks and months with moaning myrtle, that means we're not spending time with people who are ready to receive. So be aware of that. No individual can ultimately fail. Divinity which descends into humanity is bound to regain its original state. So you go to help someone and you go to help someone and you go to help someone and it's not feeling joyful anymore. You're not a cheerful giver. You feel like you're getting used. What do? Well, wise people say, let go. Let go. Love, let go. You're not in charge of the outcome. The divine is. Be a lamp or a lifeboat or a ladder. Help someone's soul heal. Walk out of your house like a shepherd. Sauntering? Take walking.
Oh, yes.
Walk out of your house like a shepherd. I love that. That's so good. Love one another and help others to rise to higher levels simply by pouring out love. Whoa, by showing them what they're doing wrong? No, by pouring out love. Love is infectious and the greatest healing energy. Love one another as I have loved you. That's what Jesus taught. Healing the world begins with healing yourself. So doing what we think are good works can create judgment, resentment, and burnout. Anybody ever volunteered themselves into exhaustion? Nobody wants your grumpy, tired, burned out body part in service to them. Here, let me help you. No, thank you, please. That's not helping. Listening to spirit before we act is the wiser path. Being our true selves is naturally loving and fun. Okay. So you're kind, you're open-hearted, you're willing to give. Where do we start? We start by stopping. That's where we start. All the great spiritual masters teach us to be kind, not to act kind, not to perform. Here I am. I'm very kind and loving. Don't you wish you were kind and loving like me? I think we've all had enough of that crap, right? I mean, come on. When we decide what kindness should look like, when we try to analyze or intellectualize or strategize our actions to win another badge for our sash from God or impress other people or whatever, manipulative bullshit we're doing, we stop listening to the Holy Spirit of love that lives within us. As children, most of us were taught to think before we act. That is not bad advice. However, we're in a new time right now. We are in a new time. We are doing something fantastic. We are building a better world. We are using our incarnation to create, help co-create on earth as it is in heaven. So we're being held to a higher standard now. What if we be before we act? Embody that love. Be with the divine. Remember, you become like who you hang out with. Be with the divine. Listen. What if we give our time and our energy according to divine guidance rather than performing or reacting? Ever done the knee-jerk reaction thing? No, never. What if we allow the divine spirit of love to flow through us? I love that song. That's a good song. To use our unique existence in the way that love sees fit. What if we allow for the possibility that we don't know everything? Ever have spirit tell you not to give money to somebody? I have. We don't know everything, but the divine does. Divine service is not what we think. It is who we be. Before we act, we've got to be clear in our energy, in our understanding, in our motivation, in our alignment with the divine. Helping, serving others is a horizontal flow. You got to get that vertical flow going first, or you are going to burn out. That vertical flow, bringing in divine light and love, and then acting from that place rather than some legalistic idea of what you should do. We have to ask ourselves, are we serving the divine, or are we trying to build a case in the eyes of some religion or God or other people about what good people we are? Look at me, I'm a good person. Don't hate me because I'm a good person. I just can't help it. There's a big difference in our hearts. There's a big difference between serving the divine and putting on a show or acting nice. There's a big difference, and our hearts know the difference. Just as surely as a baby knows the difference between a kiss from a politician and a kiss from its mother. I love that picture. They're both horrified. Man looks on the outside, but God looks on the heart. We serve the divine by welcoming in more light, by embodying more divine love and joy and peace and patience and kindness. This simple revolutionary act of divine service begins alone, quietly, behind closed doors, without a human audience. Divine service begins within. Be still and know that I am God. Shush, sit, stop. Shh. What are you doing? Divine service. First we be aligned in love, filled up with light, and then we do, as we're divinely guided. Or as Frank Sinatra wouldn't say, be do, be do, be. Remember that. Be do, be do, be. This is divine service. So let's do some of that. Beep, beep, beep. Take a deep breath in. We could have music of us singing be do, be do, be. Da 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 da, be do, be do, be. Da 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 da. I'm singing it over and over, so it'll get stuck in your head. Be do, be do, be. Da 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 da, be do, be do, be. Da 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 da, be do, be do, be. Okay. Uncross anything that's crossed. Take a deep breath in. Zoomies at home. I know we can't see you, but God's watching. So join us. Take a deep breath in. Fill your diaphragm all the way down. See if you can fill your toes with air. And blow out a lifetime of history and programming. And come to this meeting fresh and new. Great Spirit, we're so done with religion. We're so ready to be real. Show us how. Thank you to all the guides and angels present here today. We honor you for your divine service to us, for keeping us alive, for keeping us out of trouble, for keeping us from saying all those stupid things we were about to say. And you said, no, 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 don't say that. Thank you. Thank you for that. And just in your own words, thank and receive a new level of service, a new upgrade in your energy, where you can come as an equal to the drunk on the street, to the Dalai Lama, to every being, to the little puppy that chews on shoes, to the little child that can't stop crying on airplanes. Whatever it takes right now, open yourself to that pure love that doesn't force, but recognizes the beauty of divinity in every living thing. These are the tools of divine service. Sit, be, connect with the flow. Ground yourself to the earth. Turn off the distractions. Be with the divine. And all else will proceed in order. You'll be guided. But first, get that vertical flow going before you go horizontal. In your own words, in your own way. Just talk to spirit right now. As you're basking in divine love, filling yourself to overflowing with divine love. I'm going to use the prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me plant love. Where there is injury, harden. Where there's doubt, true faith in you and the kindness of your friendship. Grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console others, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to be loved with all my soul. As Rumi would say, be the reed flute, that God make his music through you. Be in divine service. Your presence as a source of stabilizing, grounding, peaceful love affects every living being on this planet, affects Mother Earth herself. What a privilege it is that we get to be part of this great transition. Take another deep breath in, put your hands on your heart. Today is August 14th for those who are physically present. If you're watching this in the future, say today's date. August 11th, I'm sorry. August 11th, 2024. Yay. August 11th, 2024 is the day I opened my heart wider so that I could be a bigger vessel of love. Thank you, Spirit. And so it is. There's a lot going on right now. We have the Lionsgate 888. You can look up online and find out all kinds of information about that if you don't know what I'm talking about. But it's basically what we're talking about here, an influx of energy. And those energies are going strong through the rest of the month. So this is transition time. This is upgrade time. Take advantage of that. Solar flare intensity. Oh my gosh, every time I speak with you, it's never been like this. This is so amazing. We got more light coming into the planet than ever. You can check it out online on YouTube. Stefan Burns will tell you all about it. But the bottom line is there has not been in our lifetimes as much light flowing into planet Earth as there is right now. This is a time of the outpouring of light. It was spoken of in prophecy, I believe. This is the time of the Great Awakening. The full moon on the 19th, there's lots of energy for change, upgrades. Stay flexible or nimble. Meditate, ground. These are your tools, meditation and grounding. Man, fill yourself up. Fill me up with love. Then you've got something to give. And it's not tainted with manipulation. Release what doesn't serve you. Get clear. Lead with your heart. There's a women's summit that I think men are quite welcome to. It's free. Free. You want to hang out with somebody who has a higher level of vocabulary than maybe people you've been hanging out with, who, excuse me, puts forth higher ideals. You can look up that online too. You do have to pre-register, I believe. So, what do we do before we act? What do we do before we do? Stop. Stop. Look. Listen to your heart and love is calling, or something like that. I'm a little young for the Supremes, but it's something like that. I made these for us as reminders. So you put this on your bathroom mirror. Or wherever you see fit. Yeah, right. It's transition time. We incarnated for this. We got this. You got this. Because who is the light of the world? Who is the salt of the earth? Right. So be that. And have fun with it. Don't do the religious crap of sacrifice and burnout. Do the real thing of hanging out with God and having fun. Hanging out with God and having fun is fun. So let's do that instead. Okay? Thank you for having me. It was lovely as always.